Blog Talk Radio.
You are now listening to the Evolution Hour with hosts Rob Gauthier and George Spirakis. Hey everybody, this is the Rob and George Enlightenment Evolution Hour. This is Rob and George isn't in tonight. There's a couple things I want to talk about. I see I've got a caller on and I'll take that call in one moment. But first of all, I want to talk about something that's very near and dear to my heart, this show. We had absolutely great show up 2 weeks ago. We had over 1,000 people who've archived listened to it just in the last 2 weeks. That is truly amazing. It's very amazing that not even that many people follow the channeled work that I do on YouTube. So it's very, very amazing to have that kind of numbers. The one from last week is almost up to about 600 right now. So we're really, really doing great, and it's because every one of you guys have been able to tune in and listen, and I am so, so grateful. There's a couple things that some people from Facebook wanted me to talk about too, but first of all, we'll go to the caller. Hello, caller from the 208 area code. Hello, caller? 208
Hello,
area code.
Rob.
Hey, how you doing?
Yes. I am doing great, Rob. How are you?
I'm doing fine. Who do we have with us today?
This is Carlos from myhybridchild.com.
Carlos, how you doing, bud? It's great to have you here today. I know that there's a lot of things you want to talk about, but first of all, can you tell the listeners exactly who you are, what kind of work you do, the website, because I think that a lot of the work you do is very interesting.
Certainly, Rob. First of all, let me thank you for having these sessions. And with time, many of us will catch on and will be participating. Many people are learning about it, so it's great and very thankful for it. Great job, Rob.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it very much. And thank you, too, because you do a lot of great, useful work as well. And I'd love for the listeners to hear about that.
Okay, well, with me, it started in interesting ways, almost not a mandate, but some intuition calling, and it had to do with communication with my daughter, my hybrid daughter, who is in another civilization, not on this earth. And through communication with her and ongoing written channeling, where I would type up what she was telling me, we created a series of exercises for communication with for parents on Earth that have hybrid children with other civilizations using the morphogenic contact grid. So working on this, I was led to the idea of creating a website, and at that point in time, I was also it was suggested to me strongly to join a particular Facebook, which was the IL Facebook, and that led me to meet Awaken Within, and somehow was suggested that she should be a part of it. So we created this website, myhybridchild.com, which is dedicated strictly for improving and manifesting the communication, the reunion between the Earth parents and their hybrid children in other civilizations.
Absolutely.
And we do this with channeling help, including yours, which has been tremendous help. And along with this, it leads us in all directions. Like, for example, with your help, I have found out who it was that I was communicating with as a child. I knew of the communication. I knew the messages were coming through. And with your help and Treb, of course, as a second channel, I have learned who it was and learned of many of my ongoing relationships with reptilian civilizations and others. So I'm very thankful for that.
Well, I'm very thankful, too, that you were able to reach out to me. A lot of the work that we do at Treb Channeling is very, very important to me. It's very, very important to a lot of people who are able to connect with Trevor, who just find amusement, who find good information, find ways to apply it in the messages themselves. And, that's why George connected with me. That's why we're doing this. But I'm also very grateful for this format because this has been able, I have had many people in the last 2 weeks contact me who have never heard of Treb Channeling. They've only heard about the Rob and George show via Facebook or other friends, other things, and it was pretty exciting to be able to hear that all those people are going. Now, I know that you and Awaken Within do this website. How many people connect to you guys, would you say, averagely on a week or a month?
I couldn't tell you, Rob. We really haven't looked at those numbers. We've been pretty busy with receiving direction, communications, channelings. As you know, Awaken draws the children, including recently more and more reptilians are appearing, and that's what we're looking forward to having this other session that we talked about with you where we can try to connect to the hybrid programs that the reptilians may be having out there, just like the EIL and many others. So I couldn't tell you the numbers. We know that it's growing, and it's very rewarding to see people recognizing their children and out of Awaken's drawing. So it's very inspiring. We have discovered some really strong connections, but we can sense the growth, and there's more and more people liking it. I mean, this whole thing started in March for us. I think it was March 23rd where I first spoke to Awaken about this, and I think a couple of weeks later we have the website up and running, and it's been going since then. And we've been trying to keep up. It's excellent. Excellent. It's good energy going. So we're very interested.
Good way too, isn't it? Oh, I'm sorry about that. That's a good way to
No, that's fine. Well, you're going to need to stop me. I just keep on going and going.
That's all right. It's a good way through those types of connections. It's very, very good way, not just to be able to connect out in a channeled state for whether it's hybrid children or entities that connect to those types of programs that create hybrids, but it's also an interesting way to look within. Now, the one thing I want to ask you about that most excites me is what kind of growth have you been able to find within yourself by trying to achieve this, by trying to connect to these entities? What have you had reflections on your own self? What kind of growth have you seen within?
Well, I guess I'll start by telling you, with my daughter, for example, it happened one morning some years ago. I had a vision. This young girl told me, I am your daughter. And I could tell she was not from Earth. She looked different. So I started doing meditation, and eventually I found out more information, and we started communicating. I think in those days, Adronis was a big help. He told me how to go about it. So we developed a relationship, continued communicating, and she was the one really that I'm sure there were others involved in the process, but it was through her, through my hybrid daughter, that the idea for the website came out. So once Awaken and myself decided to start the website, it was like a lever was pulled, and all of a sudden all these energies opened, and we started receiving information from the EIL through Sean Swanson, and including finding out our relatives in the EIL, our soul family, which are, they also confirmed this in the channeling sessions, and they've developed like direct communication with us, so that we could go on and on about this, but basically they gave us the guidance, the way to do this. So from this, it's been tremendous. To answer your question, we have found out about family that we have outside of Earth. They communicate with us, and through them, we keep on finding more and more. This also led me to talk to you, because I was curious about the reptilian connection, and I keep on finding more family. So I'm going to need a bigger house.
Oh, yeah, you're going to have to get a second mortgage, huh? Well, the best thing for me, I look at those pictures that she does. She has a beautiful group. You guys have a beautiful group there on Facebook. and I see those pictures she draws, and so much of them resonate with me. Some of them I've actually been able to experience myself in meditative states or astral projected states, like how I used to connect to Treb. I still do when I'm in the channeled state. I connect out to him, but before I started channeling him, that's how I connected, was astral communication only. And during that time, it was such a great experience, and he's shown me so many different races, and every time I look at that pictures that she draws, I feel either an energetic resonance or a remembrance type of resonance that comes back to me. There was a couple of them that were real strong for me, and the one that was real strong for you was also strong for me perception-wise, and that's the one that Treb kind of picked up on too, and that was a wonderful thing.
Yeah, it's imagine how she felt when her drawings were recognized by Treb, pointing out who these are and the connection and all that. So it worked for you too. That's great, because that's what we're trying to do, to make that connection happen. So that's great. Thank you for that.
Well, I appreciate it too. Like I said, you're doing a lot of valuable work with people. A lot of people are really involved into connecting out. So they understand that they're part of hybridization programs. They understand that they're part. Some even consider themselves abductees or contactees. And there's also another person who I met. Her name's Cecilia Evans, and she deals with contactee and support groups for abductees and contactees. And I think between her and you guys, that's the most extensive work that I've seen done with those types of communications, with helping assist people. Because a lot of people come into this and they are really emotionally off-centered. Some people who don't understand the concept yet, they just know that they're being visited, and this throws them off energetically. It throws them off with huge amounts of imbalances of fear, frustration, anger, and I think that the way you guys come to it and you show them that it's about love and not disconnection and not fear, I think that does so much for so many, and that's why I really want to have you explain as much as you can to the people, because I think it's a very, very important step for people who have these contactee situations.
Certainly, and Cecilia is doing job because with many people it starts out like you have these dreams, you remember being in a spaceship, you remember fear, and it's not fear because they were trying to scare you. It's fear of the unknown. It's the human nature to be afraid. And also the way that, particularly the Greys approach it, where they're not big talkers, they look very different. So we don't know that we made this agreement. Of course, our conscious memory doesn't work that way. But we have made these agreements to do this, to be a part of this, and that's a large majority of the population. So it all starts with a dream, a memory, and you discard it. You go, oh well, just another dream. I was on a spaceship. There were other people. There were these different looking beings. We were all in this hospital looking place. We were laying down on a bed. I remember people I know next to me. I remember another dream, and there were babies. Somebody gave me a baby to hold. And I'm talking in general. This is what the normally we hear from people.
Sure.
And this particular baby was totally different, but I felt this love, and I recognized it. And then you go back to your normal life, and you go back to work, and it was a dream. But it persists. It keeps with you, and it's repeating itself. Or there's a vague memory of seeing a child in a dream that you know from somewhere, but he's not here on Earth. And then there's another child, and like in my case, all these different children were appearing, at different times and different situations, and pretty soon they're there. So you have to acknowledge that they do exist. They're real. They're not a fantasy. They're not just a dream. And Cecilia's work is awesome in that respect too, because she deals with a lot of that, helping people become aware.
Absolutely. Cecilia's been.
So it is. Oh yeah. And that's what's happening. That's what we're seeing. So the goal we have is those people that have that feeling, that idea, that memory, that dream, that question, because that's how it starts, with a question. But to help them, find the path through energy communication. The communication is going to be mostly through energy in the beginning. By energy, I mean visuals, messages, telepathy, even dreams, lucid dreams, that sort of thing, because the majority of the young hybrid children cannot do verbal channeling. They usually have one designed to communicate on their behalf. And this way, with this particular approach, we are able to deliver a method to be followed for this process. And the biggest thing that I've been told in the channelers communications that I receive is the fear factor that we humans have to deal with. By that I mean our fear of the unknown. If a person would practice on fear and continue going into a dark room, and instead of visualizing something that will be fearful, would visualize that something that they really wanted or they really loved or they really liked was there in the dark, and they cannot see it because it's dark, they could start changing the whole approach to the fear of the darkness, for example. And through this method, and of course evolving from this method, you can also start becoming more acquainted, more familiar, more comfortable with the dreams with the aliens, because you realize that they're not harming you. And I always compare it to, like, I used to have a farm and I used to have a lot of animals, and I remember you try to help one of the animals have a baby, for example. You have to chase it down, depending what the animal was, and the animal doesn't know what's going on. This weird human-looking creature is chasing me down, and it has to trust you. There has to be a moment of trust that it knows that you're doing what's best. And I feel that's very similar to what happens in the spacecraft. My case was a little different. I have a lot of memories of being there, but it was always voluntary. It was always something that I wanted to do, that I knew why I was there. I have the memories of being in the act, in the action, involved and surrounded. I never had that nobody, wrestled me down or held me down or abducted me or anything like that. I was there because I wanted to be there. So for me, it was a little different. That's why, I know Cecilia works with people who have had the other type of experience.
Sure.
So I think it's great.
She kind of works with both of them, too. And she's worked with me before also. She did a very great favor for me. She does a lot of regression, basically higher self-contact, which is something I've never been able to do more directly, as in having a conversation with the Oversoul, but just to kind of connect through Treb as a representation of my higher self. I've been able to do a couple other things, but she helped me with that and realized that even when I was younger, that I had an experience with physical contact. And this caused a lot of fear in me, too, and that kind of swayed me down my bad path when I was very young. And she's really, really a very helpful person, as are you guys. And that's the one thing, too, I guess I really want to cover right now, is that a lot of people have these experiences with so much fear integrated into them. It really, I know a few people who have had experiences, and even though they're very knowledgeable and understand the whole concept of it, they understand that this is a soul agreement. They understand that this can't happen without attraction of some sort, whether it's energetic attraction in the now time or agreements made before existence or incarnations, that either way, that it's something that's coming to them. And that's the thing. One guy was in the abductee place, and he had said, I don't understand why you guys are giving these entities and these beings love and appreciation for what they're doing. They're coming in, they're taking you out. And he was really along that fear line base, but after several dozen people talked to him for a long time, there was a long communication, and I had even put my 2 cents in with a simple law of attraction video that I found on YouTube that explains, when you love, you attract good experiences, things like that. And if it seems bad, and this is something that Treb's helped me with in my own personal life, if it seems bad, it's only because you're perceiving it that way. You can literally take any experience and find that silver lining in the cloud. You can find that positive experience, or not experience, but positive lesson from the experience to be learned. And I think that that's something that everyone who is dealing with, whether they consider it abductions, contact, any knowledge of hybrid children, or even astral projected connection to beings, sleep state beings, anything that they're connecting with on a higher level, if it's causing fear, Try to realign yourself. Try to realize that even if these beings are negative, even if they're attracted to you for a negative reason, let's say something in your energy or an agreement, that they don't have power over you. In being in the center of your own universe, you get to create your existence from the ground up. And this is something that a lot of people dealing with the ET things don't understand the concepts behind law of attraction. They don't understand the concepts behind building your own reality. You are truly the most powerful being in the universe. And if you can center yourself, if you can see these things for what they truly are, which are experiences in growth, experiences for the soul's benefit, then you'll be able to see it from a different perspective. If you always look...
Absolutely.
Yes, and if you always look at the same thing and you look at it negatively, you will always see that thing to be negative. If you start seeing it through neutrality or positivity, you will have that same experience, but your results, your perception, all of it will be completely different. And I think that's why I appreciate you guys so much. I appreciate Cecilia doing all these things. Before I jump off with you, I want you to explain to anybody out there how to contact you, maybe different. I know there's the website, but I also know you guys have several Facebook pages. Maybe even if you wanted to give them your own personal email, any kind of information for them to be able to contact you, how would they get about that?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. And great. And Rob, yes, on what you said, 100%, that's exactly how it is. A basic example was, as a child, I was always surrounded by guides and communications, including the reptilian friend that he helped me connect to. And for me, it was very pleasant. It was very easy, very familiar. But what I would tell my parents, because what I had, instead of deja vu, I had a prévu. I would know what would happen before it happened because they would tell me, just to make it fun. So my childhood wasn't so non-exciting. And my parents were, of course, they were all confused. Catholic, what's going on with our son? How is he knowing this and this and that? So, yes, from my perspective, it was something fun. It was exciting. It was joyful. From theirs, it was something that they were very concerned about. So even in that example, you can see the difference as you're stating. And I just wanted to get that in there. But, yeah,
absolutely.
To contact us, yeah, exactly. That's how it was. I would tell them what would happen before it happened, and they thought I was weird. I am weird, but not because of that. Anyhow, go ahead. Were you going to say something?
Oh, no, I was just laughing. Sorry about that. Go ahead.
I thought you were going to say, yeah, you are weird. Okay. Our website is myhybridchild.com. Of course, www.myhybridchild.com. Our email is myhybridchild@gmail.com. And, of course, we have the myhybridchild.com Facebook. And that's the best way to contact us. Send us an email. We'd love to hear experiences. If you are one of these persons that we're talking about, and there's a large majority out there that you've had these experiences, you have a feeling, a knowing, a question, a remembrance of a dream, or something that you would like to find out, feel free to call us. We're here to help. We're totally non-profit. This is something that we're doing as a co-creation with our Yael family. It's a partnership between something done on this earth and something done intergalactic. So thank you, and we look forward to hearing from you. Thank you, Rob, for letting me put that in.
Oh, yeah, and I appreciate your efforts. I know non-profit, that's why I really enjoy you guys. You guys are trying to help people. You're trying to raise the collective. I also see the caller from the 352. Just hold on for one more minute as we say goodbye to Carlos, and we'll get you on. I appreciate it again, Carlos. Okay. You are a very, very great person. I am a better man for knowing you, and thank you so much for coming on today.
No, thank you. No, what about my questions?
Oh, yeah, you've got a couple questions here, too, for tonight, don't you?
Yeah, I had one, but that's okay, Rob. I mean, if you need to go on, let's just go on.
If you want to set on hold for a minute, wait right there, and I'm going to grab this other caller real quick, and I'll get right back to you, bud.
A quick question for you. Thank you.
Yep. All right, caller from 352. Let us know who you are.
Hey, Rob, this is me, Savita.
Hey, Savita, how are you doing?
I'm doing great. I just kind of pop in between. if you want to answer his question, that's fine. I can wait.
Oh,
fine.
all right.
My
Savita,
question is not that important.
Oh, all questions are important. That's why we love doing this at this show. All the questions are important. But if you'd like to hold, I'll get to his real quick, and then I'll get right back to you. Thanks, Savita.
Yeah.
All right, Carlos, you're back on, bud. Go ahead with the question again. Sorry about that.
Okay, it was a very general question. With your help, I have been able. I'll speak for myself here. I've been able to make contact with reptilian family that has been communicating with me since childhood. So my question is this: in more than one civilization, let me say that. So my question is this: are these reptilians relatives? Are they all? Obviously, they're all connected because we're all connected. The all is one. The one is the all. But are they familiar? Are they aware of each other? They're connected to me. Are they also connected to each other? And the sub-question is, are they also connected and aware of their connection to other civilizations, the Yael, the Sasani, Syrian, and that sort of thing? That was my question.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's a great question. From what I've understood from Treb, there are less positive reptilian beings or type 1 beings out there than there are negative, unfortunately. Well, not unfortunately. I guess the system's set as it is for a reason, but about 80 to 90% of the reptilians in this galaxy are negative. The other ones are a small group, but they are knowledgeable with each other. That doesn't mean they're consistently communicating or connecting, but they're always aware of each other. They're aware of the work that each other does. And unfortunately, there are some races who are type 1 entities that still kind of have not really a bias towards reptilian entities, but they just don't communicate with them like they would other humanoid entities. And they're type 1, they're positive, but they don't have that consistent communication. It is something that I know that they're able to communicate with any race they choose, but it has to be in their highest excitement too. Now, if these entities are connecting to humans on a mass level, then you can guarantee that they're connected to all these other groups like the Yael, the Asani, all these people who are always and consistently connecting to humans. Yes, but every time I have talked to Treb about he's very aware of the Yael energy. He's very aware of the Asani energy. He's open to connecting to them, but he never has connected to either one of those societies personally. And it's not because they don't like him, he doesn't like them. It's just that it's not within their highest excitement. They all are doing their own thing in their own excitement, and it doesn't often connect them. Treb's race doesn't really on a large scale connect to human kind. Actually, there's only one other human, that, at least as of 3 or 4 years ago, that I'm aware of that directly connects and can be channeled by Treb's race, that one of the other spiritual advisors or whatever you want to call Treb's position in his race are connected to. It's more of an overall collective consciousness love exchange, and that happens on a huge scale too, whether it be type 1 humanoids or type 1 reptilians. So it is a very big mixture, and to answer your question, I don't know specifically what race would connect with what race and what they know of each other,
okay.
But I am sure that all reptilian type 1s are aware of each other, and if they are collectively connecting to humanity, then they are very aware and intimate with each other's work.
Excellent. Great.
All right.
Thank you, Rob. Thank you for
Carlos,
taking the time to answer that. Great job. Keep it up, brother.
Well, I appreciate it, brother, and you too, and thank you again for coming, and we'll talk to you soon. Have a good one.
All right. Love and light.
All right. Love and light, bud. Bye. All right, Savita, we've got you coming back on. How are you doing, sister?
Oh, I'm doing great. I'm doing so great. Actually, I was talking to Aaron. We were chatting, and we were discussing that movie Cloud Atlas. And actually, I could not get that movie. So he said, Rob is on. I said, okay, let me call and have him discuss that movie.
That movie. I tell you what, Savita, that was such a wonderful movie. This Cloud Atlas was such a great movie. I don't watch movies. Actually, I wrote something on Facebook about this because it was so profound to me. I watched this movie. It was by accident. Rochelle was watching something in the side room. I got in maybe 15, 20 minutes after it started, and I was in the background. I was just feeding my son. She had a few friends of hers over, and they were talking, and I didn't even really connect to that idea very deeply of wanting to watch a movie. I just kind of sat there, and when I did, I started catching out of the corner of my eye, and I found such great amazement with it. I just kept watching, and I didn't really understand what was going on until probably about 2/3 of the way through the movie, and then I started really understanding what it was about, not having the first part. But I think this movie is one of the best movies I've ever seen. In fact, I wrote a small little article on Inward Quest about it, and I said I think it's one of the best metaphysical movies ever made. And actually, right now, I will read what I wrote about that, because I think it's such an important thing. I think it's such a very great movie that I'd like to read this little excerpt. I wrote in inwardquest.com, I wrote, "Have any of you seen the greatest metaphysical movie of all time, Cloud Atlas?" And then I went on. I said, "I do not watch movies anymore. I haven't watched but a handful in 5 years. Yesterday, my wife was watching one called Cloud Atlas. Something in it grabbed my interest, an irresistible pull. I watched for 2.5 hours, and at the end I cried. I cried tears of joy and resonance. I could not believe that I had found a movie that encompasses all the great truths of incarnation, love, soul groups, soul mates, self-slavery, and finally releasing all that's negative. It was so symbolic of my new life that I've been able to find, my new way of thought, and it being played all out in such a great picture in front of me. I am no movie critic, nor do I promote them, but today I will tell you, if you love this small trailer," and then I put a link to a trailer, "please watch this soul-felt movie that I have been able to resonate with so greatly." And then I went to a warning, because I've talked to a lot of people who've had difficulty taking in this movie. It's very complex, it's very deep, and it jumps around a lot. It goes from one life to another. It doesn't really tie them in.
Yeah, it was so complicated for me. It was so complicated. But apart from all that, I mean, I do get that they were coming again and again in different forms. But in the last, I was visibly, literally, and terribly upset. You know, that dystopian part. I mean, it was so. I mean, still that thing is running in my mind, and it hurts me. You know, the human, the possibility is that human can go up to that level, you know.
Sure.
You know, that dystopia. But it was so amazing, and I mean, I find it amazing. I have a 12-year-old son, and I was talking to him about that, and he said, "Mom, it is not possible." I said, "No, it is possible, you know, because humans can go up to any extremes." And he said that I mean, his words literally amazed me. He said, "Mom, that's why we have democracy, and even on Earth, if there is a one person who voices against it, it's not going to be possible." You know, that it was so profound.
Wow.
You know, that is so deep. I know.
Your son is a very insightful, enlightened soul, and I've known that through talking to you and just kind of feeling his energy through Treb too. And he's such an amazing, amazing kid. He's so insightful.
He doesn't believe in God. He doesn't believe in God, but he does believe in science. And we were discussing. He does not believe in ETs, but we were discussing. You know, like in 1800 when there was no cell phones. So like we are in 1800s now. So when science advances, then we will have proofs of everything. You know, he was just trying to prove me that, Mom, these things doesn't exist. You know.
Kids like to go with what they know. They like to prove themselves right too in a lot of things. But I know he's got a lot of great insight. Also, I see the 951 caller on hold there. When you just wait for a couple minutes and
No, you take that.
Okay, so all right, 951. I'm going to take the call. How you doing? You want to tell us who you are?
Yes, my name's Sharon McCormick.
Hey, Sharon, how you doing?
I'm great. How are you, Rob?
I'm doing great. Nice to talk to you.
You too. I want to thank you for everything. You've really
you're
opened
very,
up
very
my
welcome.
world.
Oh,
You
that's great to hear. That's a wonderful thing to hear.
Up to this point, until I, glommed onto you about a month ago, I guess. My hybrid children, Bashar, the Sassani, they were my world. But a couple of weeks ago, a reptilian counterpart of mine got in touch with me, and I know that's because of you. And she's so cool. I really love her. So, thanks.
That's great to hear, and I'm glad, too, that you're able to connect to counterparts of your own self. Is there a story about that you'd like to share?
She just sort of, came into me, said her name, which is Yai, Y-A-I, and I said, gosh, I assumed I had reptilian counterparts, but I never really thought about it. And she said, I'm positive, like Treb, I'm not one of the bad guys, and I have, we're of the same oversoul. I have many other incarnations connected to nature, very connected to nature. But in this incarnation, I'm in charge of creating natural environments on my ship. And I thought, what a cool gig.
Oh, wow, yeah, that is a beautiful thing, isn't it?
And she's clearly very wise and very loving, so I'm happy to have her in my life.
Well, I'm happy, too, that you have her in your life, and I think that's a very great concept, too, for everyone to find something within themselves. A lot of people come to channelers because they want to have information, and I tried to reiterate the idea that Treb has taught me is that all of us have that in us. All of us have portions of either higher consciousness, either higher self that we kind of call other beings or other entities like mine with Treb, or we have direct connection to the Oversoul, just depending on how we flow energetically. But the biggest thing that I've learned from Treb, it's not about being psychic, it's not about being a guru, it's not about living the pure life. It is about being who you are to the most of your ability of all of the times of all of the day, and that's what really sinks you in to these higher portions of yourself. And I think that's very, very great.
Well, it's all those limiting beliefs that we have to shed first. So.
Yes, and that's definitely the hard part, too. I also see that we have an 816 caller, so if you hold on for one moment, I see you're there, too.
Sure.
Go ahead, sorry, go ahead and continue.
Me, or?
Yeah. Go ahead, Sharon.
Okay. I also wanted to commend Carlos for explaining the hybrid children so well. I have 23 hybrid children, so
oh, wow.
The word getting out is very important to me.
It's a beautiful thing they're doing, isn't it?
It is. A friend of mine, Bridget Nielsen, and I also have a hybrid children website, so we're so excited about their work as well.
Oh, wow. Well, can you share that site with us?
Sure. It's called hybridchildrencommunity.com. Also Facebook, of course. Facebook Hybrid Children Community. We have a new version of the website going online in 3 or 4 days. We've been working very, very hard, but the old one is still up. And the whole point, like myhybridchild.com, the whole point we started this was to spread the word about the kids and support other parents and siblings and friends of the kids. You don't have to be a parent. And we have people from all over the world, connecting to us and writing for the blog. And we're very excited because it seems to us, both with us and myhybridchild.com, that the information about the kids, the reality of them, is going exponential. So we're very excited. Yeah.
Yeah, it's getting out there, and I think that's such a wonderful thing, too, to have people being able to explore so many different variations of not only their own consciousness, but when you look at it, even children are portions of your consciousness extended in a physical way. And I think that's just as beautiful as any being that we see as higher density or higher enlightenment. And I think that's such a wonderful gift. And again, I thank you too for spreading the word and getting in there and helping people out. I mean, that's what this is all about now. It's about connecting to other people to try to help with information, with love, with anything that they can have to make their existence better. And I thank you so much for that, Sharon.
Well, thank you, Rob. I hope people will, realize that they're real and they're coming. And we humans, you were talking about the fear earlier, you and Carlos.
Sure.
And that's, one of our biggest stumbling blocks. And these hybrid kids are really high frequency, and we have to raise our vibrations before they're going to come. So
absolutely,
we have to be ready. Yeah.
And that's the thing Treb's always said about contact too, is once we're ready, they'll be ready. Once we're ready, they're already ready. They're just waiting for us. Well, I appreciate it so much, Sharon, and I appreciate the call, and thank you for calling in and spending some time with us. It's well appreciated, and I hope you have a great evening.
You too, Rob. Thanks a lot.
Have a good one. Bye.
You too. Bye.
All right, 816 caller, you're on. Can you share who you are with us, please?
Hi, Rob. My name is Philip.
Hey, Philip. How you doing?
I'm grateful. Too grateful to complain.
That's a wonderful thing. What do you like to share with us today, Philip?
It was more of an inquiry than anything else.
Absolutely.
As I have absorbed a lot within the past 2 years, and it's been such a transition. It hasn't been just I've seen one thing and now I'm just listening to one thing or another. It's just been a slow progression to now this point, to where I am now listening to different channelers in itself. And it's been a lot of information that has been thrown out there. And it's slightly overwhelming, to say the least, but still very exciting on many different levels. And I'm assuming that, I guess, if I wanted to still take something a step further, it does start with finding that inner peace, or just meditation, I'm assuming, I don't know. Like, I've had so much information thrown my way, and I look left, I look right, and there's an abundance of it, and it's all been good, and I soak it all in. And in soaking all of that information in, I kind of realize, and it's kind of weird, I'm very long-winded with it, but it's just in the sense of I feel like I've become more separated from the people that I know as well.
Sure.
So there's conflict. There's just constant conflict, at least within myself, about this journey that I'm now on. I really, honestly, I don't even know where to begin. I have many questions, and I'm kind of nervous.
Sure. Well, I'll talk to you about what you've got so far out there. This is a very, very common occurrence in growth. So many of us who started our spiritual path in the last 5 years, we see how the progression starts. It always starts with information. Information, it resonates with you. You can eat it up. You eat it up like it's food, left and right. Everything you can get your hands on, you eat it up. That's the very first process. Then comes discernment. And a lot of people do this mentally. They do not connect with the information on a level of resonance of the heart. They do it with the resonance of the mind. And this is one of the distinguishing characteristics of moving to that next step, is finally being able to connect to the heart. When your information goes through your heart instead of through your mind, then you'll know what resonates with you and what doesn't. And it's the big approach that we've got to try to connect with all this channeled information is not who's right, not who's wrong, not who said what and how it was working. It's, does this work for me? There are universal truths of systems that are set up the way things work. But even that is a belief system to some. Our beliefs is what creates our reality. So will very, very much depend on your beliefs and how you take in anything. So there's no wrong and no right. That's the first step. There's nothing that's bad. There's nothing good. There's nothing wrong. There's nothing right. It only resonates through the heart or it doesn't. Anything that doesn't, chuck it to the side. It doesn't matter. It doesn't belong to you. Don't try to carry it for reasons of guilt. Don't try to carry it for reasons, well, it made sense in my mind. If it doesn't resonate in the heart, throw it away. The next step comes becoming of a higher vibration because you can put that through your heart. And when you do that, it does tend to break ties. Now, I'm not saying this is a good thing or a bad thing because it really is what it is. It's nothing more than the attraction of other people who are more like you and the dissipation of the people who are less like you. And that's not a bad thing. That's actually a very good thing. When I got out of my disconnection, I started noticing friends tumbling left and right, and that scared me. I found comfort in my friends. I didn't love myself enough to have that energy without other people being able to verify to me who I was. So I had to have that connection to those people. But what I find sooner or later is once you're able to love yourself, that's the key. This is the part that gets you from, if you have one friend or a million, it'll all be the same to you. When they leave, understand that it's not because you're pushing them away. It's not because they're pushing you away. It's because you're moving to a different stage. And growth and progression is a good thing. We can't be scared by that. Change is something that scares the crap out of everybody. It really shakes people to the core. But that change is the only consistent thing we will ever have. And that's guaranteed in any laws that you look in. Change is the only constant, right? So we move from that point. And when we move from that point, this is where it can become difficult. This is where our judgments start becoming less. When we get into that spot where we're resonating and people dissipate and we can get over that fear and anxiety, this is where resonation with everything happens. This is where lack of judgment starts coming into play. Before this point, you are looking at people and saying, you know, I'm not a judgmental person, but that guy sucks because he's judging everyone. Well, that's still a judgment, right? And that's something Treb taught me too. It's okay for other people to be in whatever position they need to be. They're their own sovereign beings. They have to live their own existence in their own life. So it's their own path. We all have to see equality in our own path. And even if it's 100% opposite of the path of the person next to you, being able to accept that and to not judge that, that's the next step. And after that, the only step that really comes after that is complete awareness of how things work in your life. Then you start seeing these things. You know, you're building your own reality and you're starting to see how you are. You see how your negative belief about this thing just turned it into a complete cluster. You see how this resonance with you, the ability to not judge something, has just opened a gate for you that you've been needing your whole life. It teaches you that once you're able to drop those judgments, you can actually see yourself manifesting not only on a variety scale of month to month, year to year, but literally moment by moment you see your thoughts, you see your actions, and you see your beliefs playing out right in front of you. So don't, if you're through any of these steps, don't feel fear, don't feel anxiety, don't feel worried or that something's wrong, because this happens to all of us who are on this journey. And even in all these areas, there are still parts that poke up in people who have been working towards enlightenment for 40, 50 years who understand this stuff like it's a Bible, you know. They understand every way it works, and they still can't apply some of it. That's our life. We are here to face adversities in the way that we make them, that we choose to have them, and that produces a goal for our physical life to give experience to the oversoul. So it's all being played out as it should. All hardships will soon be looked at as experience instead of that. And once you're able to do that, then you'll know everything's going to be okay. And know now that just because you're not there yet, you're still going to be okay, because you're growing, you're evolving, and that's what we're here to do.
Okay, and it completely resonates with me, so I appreciate it. I really, really do. I mean, it's even if it's the stuff that I kind of know in the back of my head, it's almost like you have confirmed it. Not that I'm seeking that, but it did confirm just some things that I've, some second thoughts that I've been having. No, I appreciate it all. And I have 1 million questions, but I don't want to take up, all the time or anything
go ahead.
like that. But
I've got time enough for you for another question if you got one.
Then I guess as far as, I don't want to ask about basic tips about meditation because I actually stumbled across, I can't remember what else it was. I was listening to a podcast, I guess, of yours about how to go across and meditating. It was like go to YouTube and Treb and guided meditation. So I was actually going to try that tonight. So, but all my previous efforts in it, I really haven't. I guess everyone feels something different when they are going into that state. And I really don't feel like I touched on anything at all. But I know that it's out there. I know that something is waiting. I truly do, because I have changed my mindset with quite a few things. I have seen for myself. I have seen changes for the positive. I don't look for the outside for the change. I always look for the inside myself first.
Wonderful.
Before anything else. And I've seen that, and some people don't understand the mindset. And I understand that, as well, listening to other channelers, Bashar, etc., that, let my actions and everything else, let other people see that, and then they take that from me, versus me trying to push something that they're unaware of onto them.
That's beautiful. That's a very beautiful thing, too. And I think that that's a very commendable mindset. It's a very commendable way to go. And as far as the meditation things go, what the biggest roadblocks for most people in meditation is, am I doing this right? Well, the answer to that is yes, you're always doing it right, because each person's meditation is just as individual as their fingerprints or their retina scans. Literally, every person meditates differently. Different techniques work for you, and that's what I would suggest. If you're not sure if you're doing it right, when it feels right, you'll know. Go through, listen to as many guided meditations as you can, and then go through and listen to any unguided meditations. Listen to what your body tells you, your heart. That's one of the big roadblocks. The other one is expectations. Most people say, I'm coming in and I'm going to connect to a Pleiadian Alcyone entity from the fourth planet, and that doesn't work either, because even if you're trying to get that and you end up possibly being able to do that, you're literally cutting out everything but that. Your expectation sets up roadblocks that narrows that reality in. Everything outside of that you could experience, you're going to miss because you're not open to that. Going into a meditation, the intent is vitally important, at least in my experience. When you go into a meditation, setting your intent to be very general and to be very self-expanding is the best way. For me, a lot of my meditations in the beginning was, my intent is to open myself up to more of me. And I would repeat that. And you do that after your body's completely asleep or relaxed as best as you can get it. You repeat that mantra in your mind, that affirmation over and over and over until it stops being words and it starts being a feeling. And once that feeling comes, let go of it. Let it go out. Let the universe have it. It'll send back what you need. Sometimes it won't happen in the hour you're sitting there. Sometimes 3 days later you'll go, oh my God. And you'll have that revelation. Don't expect time periods either. Just let it go, and it will come back to you. As long as you're not afraid, as long as you're not going in with anxiety. The reason meditation worked for me is because I loved it. I was literally addicted to meditation. The feeling of meditation for me was just so great compared to all the things and disconnection I had been through for the years before that. So for me, it wasn't about doing anything but digging into my own self, and I loved it. And every person who looks at meditation as a chore will not have as good as results either. I suggest that if you are going to that Treb Channeling guided meditation, that to look through the description. There's a list of maybe 8 or 9 suggestions. Read those through and take them to heart. Kind of feel them. And then when you get to that state in the meditation where I say, let go, release, let your consciousness free, that's when you set your intention and set it over and over again. Whatever your intention is, whether you want healing, connection, just inner peace, let that intention go, and it'll come back to you.
Okay, cool. I'll definitely try that. Thank you. I appreciate it so much.
Hey, no problem, Philip, and I'm glad you called. I appreciate everybody who's called, too, tonight. I appreciate it very much, Philip, and thanks for calling. We'll see you soon.
Namaste.
All right, goodbye. All right, Savita, you're still on here, so I'm going to put you back on. Thank you for holding. It's been almost 20 minutes, so sorry about that, but Go ahead, Savita. You're back on.
I'm enjoying listening to you guys. It's okay.
It's
For
a
Phyllis,
beautiful
if you try Callie Howell, her meditations are super good. They are easy in the sense. He can try whatever resonates with him.
Sure. And what's that meditation you were talking about? What's it called, and where do you find
Callie
it?
Howell. If he YouTube it, Callie Howell. She has guided meditation. Actually, she worked a lot on binaural beats. So I do meditation on her music. It's binaural beats. It helps you to go in theta waves. Your brain wave.
Sure,
So
that's the kind I like too.
Yeah, her guided meditation has in the background. It has if you Google it, you'll find out. Callie Howell.
How do you spell the last name?
Howell, Howell.
Okay, so like Winston Howell III from Gilligan's Island, kind of Howell. Or
yeah.
Beautiful. I always tell people who are just beginning meditation, there is a brilliant thing that's out there, and it's from Jack Kornfield, and that's Kornfield.
Yes, you posted it. Yes,
yeah,
I did
that's
it.
a beautiful one. It's meditation for beginners. Yes, it is. It's very beautiful. It helps people be at ease with themselves, because that's really what meditation is about. It's a self-relaxation and a self-hypnotizing to help us achieve the states that normally we should be able to, but our ego and many years of being suppressed, suppressing our own selves really has led us to. So we have to hypnotize ourselves. This Callie Howell, how did this experience go for you? What led you there?
She just happened to come to me like you came to me all of a sudden. I'm doing Callie Howell's meditations. In the beginning, I started with her guided meditations. After that, now because I've been meditating for, oh my God, more than a decade, But now I put her music and then I meditate. Because you know me, I'm very physical. It is so difficult for me to get into the state. So I just put that music on and then I meditate. So, that goes like that. Some things resonate with you. Her meditations are simple. Plus the music do the trick.
Sure.
So he can try. Yeah. There is her one CD which is called Universal Mind.
Okay.
So that CD has all affirmations, and her music CDs, like which has only music, it has what do you call it? The music affirmation thing, like when there is no word, only affirmation with the music. So you put on the music and you listen to it. It kind of translates into the mind with the affirmations.
Oh, that's
a
wonderful.
About?
Yeah. I'm not sure what they're called, but I know exactly what you're talking about too, and that's a good thing. I've seen many that do that. Another couple courses that I suggest too, if you're into guided meditation, the one that helped me achieve my channeling state or my astral states Treb was called the Gateway Experience, and I know you've heard of that one, Savita. I've showed you a few of those.
Yes.
The other one
is good too. Yes.
Oh, yeah, those are very great. Those are the ones that help teach you technique. They help you get all the simple techniques, even to the complex techniques, down and teach you different things. Even when you're nervous before meditation, it teaches you different things to be able to level yourself out energetically. It teaches you self-healing. It teaches you a gambit. And that's one that I highly suggest. It's very expensive, though. If you buy it, it's about $700 or $800 from the website. So it's very expensive. If you have someone who would let you borrow it, I suggest doing that because it's pretty expensive. But another one too is the same thing. Hemi-Sync works with the binaural beats, just like Savita was talking about, and so does Equisync. But these have no guided parts to it. They're just regular binaural meditations. But the reason I love them so much is because they have that ambient rain sound behind it. And that rain sound is something that is so useful. When I first started meditating, that's all I ever used was thunderstorms. I would put it on and I'd hear the rain and I'd hear the thunder, and that in itself was enough for me to connect. A lot of nature CDs too. If you like the ocean, they've got ocean ones. If you like birds chirping, crickets, literally anything you could think of, they've got those all over the place. You just look on the internet for natural sounds. I suggest if you already learned technique, if you're already comfortable with meditation, or you don't want to learn technique, you just want to close your eyes and dip into yourself, I think that's one of the very, very best ways to use it too.
You know, in that, hello?
Yeah, I'm here, Savita. Go ahead.
You know, with the binaural beats, because they have the decoded messages inside those music, I would say that because, you know, you literally do not hear with your visible ear what they're saying, but in that music it is decoded message, so there could be some bad messages too. So I would suggest that you always listen to them and go what your heart resonate with. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
because some of them I heard and I felt very uncomfortable with. You know,
sure.
So I mean,
well,
don't listen to your mind.
Oh, go ahead, Savita. Sorry.
I'm saying don't listen to your mind, listen to your heart. That's what I'm saying.
Sure. And the way the binaural beats work is that they use a specific harmonic frequency, and again, most of them you can't hear with the physical ear, and they produce different sounds in each ear. And as those sounds in each ear go, it helps set your brain to a specific state of consciousness. There's the delta state and theta states that are the two higher, the alpha state and the beta state. The alpha is the one that's day-to-day. That's what we deal with when we're just normally thinking. That's the stressful, all those things, the beta, and then the delta, and then the theta. And the delta and theta are the highest, and those are produced by specific sounds. Each sound has a different effect. There are some binaural beats out there that are on what you call unequal frequencies, and those are the ones that aren't a natural, pure harmonic tone, like a C, a D, a C flat. All these things are natural harmonic, but if it's in between keys of a natural sound in a lower vibration, or even if it's on a higher one that's damaging, there is possibility for it to make, like Savita said, there's some that make people feel groggy or sick to their stomach, and that's why I suggest the ones that I've done resonate with me. But again, I think you're right, Savita. It depends on your own self, and each of these things affect us on so many different levels. And I think that you're right. You gotta channel that through your own heart, through your own beliefs, and kind of see how that goes too. So I really appreciate having that there too, Savita. Is there anything else, Savita, you want to talk about real quick before we wrap her up tonight?
You're wrapping up. I have a little complaint. I can do it later on off air.
Okay, well we could do that complaint for off air if you want to do that too. I
just want to tell you that I'm having Treb withdrawals.
Oh yes. This is a very, very valid thing to talk about. I have just switched computers. I just got my new computer set up. And in that switching computer, which I built by myself, I'm very proud of the fact, my very first computer I built by myself, I ended up losing one of my external hard drives that had all of the old sessions on it that I recorded and haven't not transcribed, but put into videos. So I do apologize to everyone. But luckily, there was a couple, maybe a dozen or so that I haven't done. Lately, I have been so busy. There's been many projects on my plate lately, and I want to run through a few of them just to keep everybody in the loop, and I've got exciting news about one of them, too. But I have been doing sessions every night for the last few months, almost every night without fail. We're doing this show every Wednesday, and my sessions are with Treb, the channel, the source for those of you who aren't aware of my channeling, through Treb Channeling. I've been either doing private sessions with people, I've been trying to do open forums with George, or just regular sessions with George, or I do regular private sessions with people who donate money and don't wish to have that shared. So those are the different kinds of things, and I'm doing those literally almost every night. The radio show, this is my funnest project, because as much as I love channeling, as much as I love sharing this information with all of you, this is one of my highest excitements, because it allows me to help people raise their collective consciousness with the knowledge that we have. Me and George hasn't been here for 2 weeks. The first one was planned, the second one wasn't, but I want to give a lot of thanks out to George, because without him this wouldn't be possible. He is a very, very brilliant understander of all of the information that Treb explains and teaches. He's what I call a spiritual encoder, which is someone who can take those channeled messages and break them down simplistically, and he can also hear the messages between the lines, because in channel material it's very encoded. Just like the binaural beats, it's very encoded. There's always messages between the lines, and those are the ones that most of us can't understand, and George is he's a genius at doing this. And this is why he wanted to add his expertise to this. I've been fortunate enough to be able to connect with Treb as often as I have, as much. So I've learned a lot in a short, compacted 5-year time. Some have told me I have the equivalence of someone who's been doing this for 20 years because I've jammed all that. But that's because it's in my excitement. And we bring this information to all of you guys. We have everyone call in. We have everyone communicate with us so that we may give this message out to people for free. We want to help you raise your vibration, and in turn maybe one day you can help someone who's going through some issues, difficulties, whatever you want to call them, and you can help them go through theirs. And once this happens, if everyone can start doing this as a domino effect, bam, we have the collective consciousness raised. And that's what I think is very important. Also, I'm doing a couple other side projects. The one that I'm very most excited about is the Tuning In Part 3, which is Spirit Channelers of America documentary. I know most of you people who are into the channeling of any kind have seen this first movie. This first movie is about channelers, and they go through the whole idea of law of attraction. And it's something that is very, very exciting. And in the first one, they had Daryl Anka, who channels Bashar, and John Callie with Chief Joseph, Lee Carroll with Cryon, and Jeffrey Hope with Tobias, Wendy Kennedy, Sean Randall. All those people were on the first one. There was a second one done, who actually has a friend of mine, a very close friend who I've worked with a few times, Sean Swanson, who channels Ishwa for the Yael. He was on the second one, and I've had the opportunity to be in the third one. We've tried to collect money up so that we could get this movie made. It cost $20,000. Well, I've got such great news. I've always talked about manifesting, and it can be easily done as long as you're willing to put your excitement into it, as long as you're willing to put your heart into things. Well, I put my heart into collecting this money. And just recently, I had a private donation given to me for $5,000. I contacted the director and told him that I have half the money I need, and he said that half is good enough, that half will ensure me to have Treb Channeling in this Part 3. And the good thing about Part 3, Part 2 is a little lesser known channelers, but Part 3 is going to have most of the people from Part 1. Lee Carroll is definitely coming, who channels Cryon. Jeffrey Hope is definitely coming. He channels Tobias. And Wendy Kennedy is definitely going to be in there. So I'm going to have my chance to share my channeled information on a platform with these legendary people. These people are the best in the business. They are the top of the game. They're the people who have been around for the longest and who have the most intricate connections to their channeled sources, and I'm going to have a chance to be a part of that. And I want to thank everybody who sent love to us for that. I want to send love to everyone who's connected to Treb material in general, because it's your wanting to know this stuff that keeps me going, that keeps me excited. Whenever I see someone newly learning about this, it just excites me with a passion that cannot be extinguished. My fire burns, and it burns strongly right now, and I'm so happy. I'm talking about, I feel like a 3-year-old kid at Christmas, man. I'm just so excited to be a part of this. And My whole life's mission is to have other people know about anything that Treb teaches, anything that they can use in their life that will better them, and that's why we're doing the show. I still am one of the only people who do channelings for free in the public, because I believe that everyone needs that connection. I believe that everyone needs to have connection within them. And some people can't find it at first because it's so hard to get yourself aligned to connection, to not going through so much friction when you're going through that journey. So I think I appreciate you reminding me of that, Savita, so much, because I really wanted to reiterate how the power of manifesting and the power of doing what you love through thick and thin, through ups and downs, staying in that moment of doing what you love. If some person like me who 6-7 years ago was so badly disconnected and so badly messed up can go from there to where I am now to being able to help thousands of people, I mean, this is a true miracle. If I can do it, any of you can, and I know that for a fact, and this is what excites me so much. I love everybody out there so much who's been supportive and loving, and those people who haven't been, I love them almost even more, because they've set the standard higher for me and Treb's work, and I love to talk about it. And I'm sorry I got off into that, but thank you, Savita, for helping remind me of that.
No, it's okay. I just love to listen to you. I mean, the excitement. You're so bubbly. I mean, it's beautiful.
It's so hard not to be. I'm living my excitement right now. I mean, talking to you, talking to everyone who's called in today, that is my excitement. Being able to find, it's just exciting. Go ahead, sorry.
I listen to many channels. I mean, every single day I find out, like, YouTube is so huge, Every single day I find out about the new channeler. But let me tell you this thing, Treb, I don't know, maybe I'm so connected to Treb or whatever it is. I find Treb pure love energy. And you are also pure love energy. You are so dedicated. And I do literally pray. And I know, I mean, I was talking to Treb also about that. I mean, like, I'm not worried, I'm not fearful, but like a mother or maybe elder sister or whatever you can say, just kind of keeping an eye that everything goes okay kind of thing, yeah.
And I love you so much for that.
I love you too. I love you. I really love you so much. I'm so connected to Treb. Every single time I listen to him, the messages are secondary. The first thing, as soon as I listen to his voice, I feel the energy, and it's pure love energy. I did not feel that with any of them. People talk about Bashar, people talk about Abraham, people talk about Wendy Kennedy, Nora, those, like, they are very, the knowledge is there, they are
sure.
Beautiful, but the part, the selfishness, selflessness, that's what I want to say. That part, the pure love feeling part, I just only get in Treb. He's just like, for me, he's just like, the great grandpa who just full of love,
That makes me very, very excited and happy to hear that, Savita. And I've been told that by a couple of people that their connection with Treb, they love the simplistic approach that he takes. He doesn't get real complicated with the information like some of the other channeled beings do, but that's usually a reflection of the channeler as well. And I try to keep things simple for people. It's partially to do with my own capacity, but it's also to do with needing to have people understand these things in a more simple way. Complexity is good when you want that knowledge and just the knowledge, but you're right, the love and the care that he shares with everyone is such a beautiful thing, and I believe that I'm able to do that more now with people as a natural default setting because of my connection with them. It's funny how when you start doing this channeling and you start connecting to these entities, how so much of them rubs off on you. And I think it's such a wonderful, wonderful experience. And I'm glad that you said that, Sabita. It really means a lot to me. Your heart is definitely there. You've told me this many times, and I can never appreciate it more than I do now. And I thank you so much for seeing that.
Rob, one more thing I want to say. Two more things I want to say. As you said, like helping people, the knowledge and help, it never goes waste. Like as you so rightly said, it's like dominoes effect. When you helping in the sense, when people learn from you, it doesn't matter big thing or small thing. When somebody learns just a little from you or from Treb or from the circumstances or whatever, created by the whole thing, when somebody learns it, it kind of automatically passes through, because as we expand, we have capability of expanding others also, whosoever comes in our life. You know what I mean? So it is, those effects, those efforts never go waste. It's like keep on going from one person to another. That's how, it's like a matrix, it expands like that. And another thing I want to say, it is a beautiful thing, and I do congratulate you and myself and everybody that you got the part in third movie. But personally, I feel that Treb and you are so pure, like you are so selfless. You do not need those big names, Treb. You don't. For example, Treb is reptilian. Reptilians have negative names, But because who Treb is, you do not need to explain it to anybody. People feel it. They know it. Truth remains truth. So the same way, these bigger names, it helps, in logical, practical world, but actually it does not in metaphysical world. You know what I mean?
I know exactly what you mean, and that was why I don't think I manifested this before, is because of my own brain playing with that idea too. Was, before it was like I need to have a connection to these people who are larger so that more people can find Treb, because I was so adamant about the message getting out. But the more I realized that I was fighting myself, because I understand the way of naturalness, I understand the way that things work because they have to work that way, because they should work that way, and that really Treb's message on it stands on its own. It doesn't need any other names to go along with it to help it. That's what I've started, and you were telling me that.
Yeah, sure. It's a two-way street, Rob. It's like people talk about Bashar. If there is nobody to receive his message, can Bashar expand? No. It's a two-way street. People need him. That's why he's there.
Sure.
Yeah, so the same way, Treb is there, people need him. So whosoever needs Treb, whosoever needed the message, whosoever need to be in contact with Treb, because it's a manifestation from both the sides,
Absolutely. It's beautiful co-creation, yes. Isn't it?
Yes. So the people who need his message, or he who needs the people, they're going to be there. No matter what. It does not matter if you reach 10,000 people or 1,000 people or 2 people. It doesn't matter.
Well, I thank you for that. And Sabita, I'm going to jump off with you real quick just because I got one more caller and we only got about 5 more minutes. I appreciate every word you said, and I love you dearly with my heart. It is because you telling me this before that helped me get through that helped me produce that ability to co-create that manifestation. And I thank you so much for that, and I love you so dearly.
Oh, I love you too, Rob.
All right, Sabita, thank you, and I'll talk to you soon, okay?
Thank you.
All right. Now we have a caller. Now this caller is a very, very special caller, a very, very great friend of mine. His name is Jefferson Viscardi. His ability to write, his willingness to connect to me and Treb is what helped put me on a journey to expand Treb's message out in the first place via the first book we did. And I've got him online. How you doing, Jefferson?
Hello, all right. Can you hear me all right?
I can hear you perfectly. How are we doing, brother?
Oh, fantastic. I'm sorry, I just got your message now. And I want to say that, yeah, it's just fantastic what you're doing there, and you just keep on going, and no matter what happens, you are always there. And yeah, I wanted to come online and say hello and say congrats. And
well,
just,
I appreciate it.
Yeah, man, just keep going.
Well, why don't you tell everyone a little bit about yourself? We've only got about 8 minutes left, but I'd really like to get your name to the listeners, and so that they can experience who you are and what you do, because you do a very unique service for other people as well as now for your own self being able to do. So please, give us a quick intro to who you are.
All right. You see, it's really hard to say who we are. I mean, it's best when it reflects from people like yourself, from the books we do, and the entities we talk to. So I think that people can find out who we really are by what we do with our time and with the gifts that God gives us, and how we apply them on a daily basis. And that's really how we discover who we are. So I myself am discovering that on a daily basis, and God knows, I mean, it's really hard to express all the gifts they gave us, but with friendships like yours and those people that come around like flowers and, you know, make our lives more colorful, you know, and that's how we really find out, you know, how special every single one of us is, and that's who I am, you know, just someone that's just growing and reflecting back the light people give me and getting a little bit of the light of everyone and trying to make the best of every day. So, well, my name is Jefferson Viscardi, Viscardi. But, yeah, sure enough, just by finding the books you wrote and the beautiful work that you do, people will eventually find myself. But it's important that they keep their focuses on what Treb says, because and all the teachings that we can get from these beings, because boy, I mean, I can't get enough, really.
Well, why don't you tell them a little bit about the last two books that we had done? Just a quick intro, if you want to, maybe what they're called, and maybe a little of your personal experience with it.
All right. So, yeah, we've got two books going on, guys, and it's Treb Benevolent Hybrid Reptilian Humans. It's a big book. It's just a fantastic book where we talk about, with the entities from Treb's world, how life is going on in there and how they get to work out their society and friendship and relationship with other nations, and also how they're born. You know, in short, it's a fantastic book. Treb just give us everything he knows, and, you know, if you have a question, he has an answer. So in that book, I mean, it's just amazing, and you can find with Rob on the websites that he's been giving you guys. So it's just fantastic. This book is amazing. And it's not because I wrote it. I just wrote the questions. But that
was a good part of it, though.
Right. But the depth is really on what Treb said and how amazing it is the way their society works. But yet, that's just, I mean, it is fantastic. It's amazing. So you guys, I mean, it's just here, the ideas within, you know, can take you to that. It says in the book, that unforgettable, unabridged, easy to identify with adventure. So that's the book. That's called Treb Benevolent Hybrid Reptilian Humans. I mean, Treb is my friend. Everything that is said here is just amazing. And boy, I wish I could give you all a copy, and we have, haven't we?
Oh, we've given out several thousand copies of that book via e-file. We've given out many of them, and everyone's enjoyed them. We only got about 3 minutes left, so if you want to hit that second book real quickly and give a quick once-over about that.
Right, the second book is called Extraterrestrial Life, Galactic Humans, on the Plurality of Inhabited Worlds. We had this idea to write a book and speak to human-like beings, human beings just like us, that live around the galaxy. So Treb connected us to 12 different races that gave us many answers about how their societies are structured and how they live their lives in abundance. That's it. Amazing.
It's beautiful, too. And I'm sure there'll be more of those galactic humans coming around, too. Me and Jefferson have talked about doing more of those, and we really plan on getting more out, because that one was so amazing, having so many different types of humans that we could see that were either not relating to us or relating to us completely, but no matter what, they're all still a part of us, and I think that was wonderful. I'm sorry for the 342 area code call I just missed. We're getting down to the last couple minutes. Is there anything you want to say before we get ready to leave, Jefferson?
Well, just for everyone to live an inspired life, because, I mean, that's why we are here, after all. All right, guys, thank you very much.
Thank you, Jefferson, for coming. You're a great friend. You're a great man, and some of what Jefferson knows is enough to inspire people. I mean, I've been telling them you write a book of just your knowledge, and it'll be one of the greatest sellers of all time. Very insightful, very enlightened person, and I love you, brother, and thank you for coming on.
Much love.
Bye. All right, now we're getting down to the last couple minutes of the call, so I just want to tell everyone this has been a great show. Lots of calls. Sorry about the last one that I missed. Maybe next time, next Wednesday. We're here always at Wednesday, 9 p.m. Eastern, United States time. And the call-in number is area code 347-308-8788. We talk about anything and everything. If you got an idea, bring it to us. We'll chat about it. Give us your points of view. Ask questions, whatever you want to do. If you're from across the seas, if you're from Europe, Australia, you can always make an account here at Blog Talk Radio, and then you can call in with Skype, which is absolutely free. So thank you all again for your love and support. I love all of you guys so much, and I'm so thankful that we had this opportunity to talk to all the guests today. George will be with us next week for sure. George will be back here with us next week, and we'll be rocking and rolling back to normal. This is the Rob and George Enlightenment Evolution Hour. This is Rob, and George ain't here, but he will be next week. We love you guys. Thanks again. Bye.